We need to do these next questions, quick fire.
Okay.
We're almost 1 hour.
Yeah.
So now, do you think the democratic practice currently in Nigeria, is it still democracy? Can we still call it democracy, or it has become something else? What do you think?
No, if you say we are practicing democracy, I will tell you no. Because the three instruments that are supposed to strengthen democracy have now been called temple of concurrence.
Which
Is the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. Each one concurs with the other. So we don't have democracy. The judiciary will not tamper with the interests of the executive, which was not the case before. Obasanjo and Atiku. Obasanjo was president, and Atiku was his vice president. They have gone to court about 9 times. And in those 9 times, Atiku has defeated the president. It cannot happen this time. It cannot happen. The court will always find an excuse. Just look at the judgment of the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is not supposed to entertain any matter that has to do with local government election. There is a boundary. But the Supreme Court went ahead, a Rivers State matter, to delve into local government election and to even, accept the judgment of lower courts, which is to tell you that they are willing to do anything, including even violating their law, to be able to deliver. I have not finished. Secondly, why I'm saying that, look at the National Assembly. In the issue of to ratify the state of emergency, the law clearly says that the House must dissolve into voting. It didn't say it should be voice vote. No, votes must be counted. But the 2 houses use voice vote because the House of Reps didn't even have the quorum to be able to do that. So they resorted to voice vote. The Senate could not have if there was a voting process, the Senate would have lost in the Senate. So how would you be able to say that democracy is being practiced the way it ought to be practiced?
Now, in the face of all of this, compromised judiciary, silenced voices of opposition, this, hollowing out opposition parties and all of that, what is the hope for Nigerians generally? And where is Nigeria headed as this?
You see, the opposition are not silent, but they have been forced to be silent. Why I say the opposition have been forced to be silent is that they have put problem in almost all the parties.
Set fire inside them.
Set fire inside them.
So they are busy putting out fires.
I will give you a latent example.
Quickly.
Yes. NMPP, as it is now, they have 3 chairmen.
3? National
chairmen. 3 national chairmen. There is one who is a Hausa man who is representing Konkoso group. There is somebody called Beneventure who got a judgment in Federal High Court, Enugu, that he is the owner of the party. And then there is another person who is parading himself as the national chairman of the party. These were all planted by the ruling party. Again, Labour Party. At a point, Labour Party had 3 national chairmen. Nanade Usman, Lamidi Apapa, and Julius Abure. Now, the Supreme Court has given it to Nanade Usman. But the litigation has now started again, afresh. She has to go to Federal High Court to be able to win this case. But still they are appealing against the Federal High Court ruling again. So it's a cycle of this. So it is not an issue of the opposition. It's because the government is against an opposition. But we have one consolation.
Which is?
The Nigerian people.
Okay.
People vote and not people who defect or people who get sentiments of the courts. No, it is the people that vote. So we are hoping, just like it happened inside several states, where a sitting governor was upstaged by somebody, that the people will still vote along that line.
What state was that?
Several states. In Fintiri defeated a sitting governor.
Yeah.
In
Adamawa.
Bala Mohammed defeated a sitting governor. Adeleke defeated a sitting governor. The governor Dauda Lawal of Zamfara defeated a sitting governor.
But many would argue that that was where, some level of, transparent elections took place. They allowed the people's, votes to count.
Yeah.
Now, if you take the issue of poverty, mass poverty, and the weaponization of such poverty, because when election comes, what you politicians will do is to bring out money to buy votes. Vote buying is now become a phenomenon.
Yes.
It's become a standard feature of our democratic practice.
Yes.
Can you still count on the people to vote according to their conscience, or collect 20,000 or 50,000 on the day of election and vote for the ruling party?
Well, you see, I will speak for the area I come from, which is the north. People collect money. They are even before now.
Yes.
During IBB, during the option A4.
Yeah.
I remember that people used to put leaves on their head that I'm for sale. When you put a leaf on your head, I'm for sale. Come and buy me. I'm a voter. It's option A4. This has been a practice within the Nigerian system. But has it always worked? No, it has not always worked. Because people have been buying votes. Yet, if it works, a sitting governor who has enormous resources to buy everybody, cannot be defeated by somebody coming from the outside. It doesn't work all the time. Now, even I can tell you, when people are properly mobilized, they will reject everything you give them. I'll give you one example, one critical example. During our time, as part of our efforts to alleviate poverty, we sent 100 trailers of rice to Kano. It was returned because people were mobilized and told that anybody who eats that rice is good luck rice, is going to die. So nobody collected the rice. It was returned. Now that is that's the spirit of proper mobilization.
There was no hunger in Nigeria then.
There was hunger, but people were nobody wants to die.
There was no hunger in Nigeria then. No. That was 2014, 2015. Imagine hunger now. 11 years ago.
What do we want to live with? To live with hunger, or you want to live? You want to collect something and eat and die? Because they were mobilized, they campaigned into, and they got the message. Now, what I'm trying to tell you is that vote buying has become the system. But you see, in elections that are off cycle, it can effectively work. But in an election that is general election, you can't buy everybody. People here and there. So it becomes, and people, there is one look in local parlance, in what we call jikimagai in Hausa language. What is jikimagai? Now your body will tell you whether you enjoy or you are suffering. Whether the 4,000 or the spaghetti that you will get, or the small Milo that they will package and give you, it is able to sustain you for 4 years.
Like I said, let's run quickly. So, with a compromised electoral system,
Yes,
mass discontent all over the place, people are discontent and all of that,
Yes.
suppressed populace, uncontrolled killings, mass killings everywhere.
yes.
What do you see Nigeria walking into as we go towards 2027? What are we walking into? Are we walking into a minefield, or what exactly?
You see, those things you have mentioned are not even the issues.
Okay.
They are not the only issues.
What are the issues?
They are not even the issues. Insecurity, I agree with you, is on the top.
Yeah.
Because the spate of killings
Yes.
now is beyond comprehension.
Absolutely.
Now look at the Nigerian army itself. How many people were massacred?
And losing members.
Yes, they are losing members. And the Nigerian army is not much. in terms of combat ready soldiers. And then we are losing a lot of members. In fact, I saw a video where a soldier was crying, from Maiduguri, where he's crying. He's saying they should pray for them, that they may be killed any moment. Now, that is to tell you the number of, if the soldiers who are supposed to defend our sovereignty and integrity are being killed, it means the thing is inching towards us. So we have to pray for our soldiers. Now, that's the issue of the insecurity. But aside from that, it is the justice of the rulership of the country. When appointments are skewed towards a particular ethnic group, it also brings a lot of discontent. It is a common knowledge that this is what is happening. But it is not the ethnic group that will be in charge of everything. I agree that INEC chairman is a Yoruba man from Okun in Kogi State. The chief of army staff is is a Yoruba person, and so forth and so on. All the people that will supervise the election, the IGP is a Yoruba man, the DSS is a Yoruba man, and so forth. But nevertheless, when people want to revolt against the system, these people can't stop it. They are a minority in the context of
because they're just solitary individuals.
Yes, they are minority in the larger picture. What interests people more is your ability to recognize people from other places that can also do the work and give it to them. Now, if you take somebody that the people think this man does not like us, he does not give our people appointment, and that is very fundamental, in this dispensation. Again, the poverty and hunger, the disparity in the distribution of resources. Even where contracts are supposed to be awarded, I can tell you without fear of any contradiction that half of the resources of Nigeria is being spent in Lagos. If you take the coastal route, for instance, which is 15 trillion, you take the super highway, which is about 2.8 trillion. You take the Fourth Mainland Bridge, which is about 3.8 trillion. You take the renovation of the Third Mainland Bridge, which is about 3.6 trillion. So the which is 712 billion. Look at the CCTV monitoring center, 40 billion. All resources are being channeled to Lagos.
And let's make room. But some would argue with you on nepotism and this cronyism that President Buhari did 8 years and he did worse than President Tinubu. So President Tinubu is just trying to catch up with his predecessor. Now, but don't respond to that because of time.
No, I have to respond.
Okay, yes. One minute.
Yes, 1 minute. Does one bad turn deserve another?
But he didn't mince words when he said he was going to continue the legacy of President Buhari.
No, it is not about legacy.
Yes.
What he ought to do is not to continue the legacy of President Buhari, is to build on a justice system that everybody will feel, carried along. If Buhari does a wrong thing, does he want to continue along that line?
On behalf of all the Yoruba people, let me say that it is not the Yoruba government that President Tinubu is running. He's running a city boy government from Lagos. So they just needed to put that out. Now, when governors decamp, senators, when they decamp to the APC,
yes,
the president's men will say it is superior strategy. At what point does superior strategy come to an end and it is deliberate sabotage?
There is nothing like a superior strategy. It is a way to kill multi-party democracy. When you talk about superior strategy, because you are giving them money, there are allegations of people being given money. If we don't even know it, at least the Zamfara governor, before he decamped to APC, has said so. He said he is aware that certain states are even being given, state governors are even being given 500 billion.
Absolutely.
But he was never given anything.
Absolutely.
Now he has come to get his own 500 billion.
500 billion. Not
500 billion. He has come to get his 500 billion. Now that is to tell you that that is not superior strategy. That is wasting of resources that belongs to the federal government, to Nigerians. That 500 billion will have created quite a number of schools, quite a number of roads renovated, and so many things will have been done with that 500 billion. But it's given to a governor to lure him into a political dynasty.
Now, 2027 election, is President Tinubu making it, with everything we've said so far, is it already concluded? Is it won and lost already, even before one single vote?
What he is working towards is not an election. He's working towards a coronation. He wants to be coronated as the president and commander-in-chief, knowing fully well that in a free and fair contest, if he gathers the whole governors and...
That was actually the next question. That in a free, fair, credible election, can President Tinubu actually win?
He cannot win. Don't forget that he came with 36% approval rating. And he was voted by less than 10% of the voters in Nigeria in 2023. So, and his popularity rating, as it is now, is low. Even if I have not done any scientific research to be able to establish it, but the pulse of the nation will tell you how the people perceive the administration. And his approval rating is very low. And so if an election that is free and fair is conducted, I can assure you that Tinubu cannot win that election.
Okay, we need to ask you this one before we round up. Some opposition figures have been arrested and prosecuted for sundry crimes. Malami, former Attorney General Abubakar Malami, is being tried for corruption. Former Governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, not just corruption charges, even state, security, borderline security issues, wiretapping and all of that, cyber crimes and all of that. So is this purely a case of suppressing opposition voices, or there are genuine cases of crime?
Even if there are grounds for such,
Yes.
the timing was very wrong. Because this is an election period. Within an election period, you begin to capture
but do you leave somebody who has allegedly committed a crime, because he's election period?
Yeah, no, even if...
When you don't have...
Now, Malami left this thing, who was no longer this Attorney General, how many years ago? So it is only in this year that you have been able to establish that he has stolen money. No? It means that the essence of catching him this year is to put him behind bars, to stop him from funding his own political party, because he has joined an opposition party. If he had remained in APC, nothing would have happened to him. But since he has moved to an opposition party and they believe he has quite a number of watches that he can deploy, so let them put him behind bars. Now, Nasir El-Rufai has been a vocal critic of this administration. So when he was arrested, it was expected that he would be arrested. But his arrest will not stop him from talking, because he will naturally be out of... They cannot continue to detain him forever. And they cannot, kill his spirit. His spirit is still there. What he wants to do, he wants to do. He felt shortchanged, and he is using his own political influence to also undermine the government.
Now, as Nigerians prepare to go, to the 2027 polls, with insecurity, hunger, deprivation, just general discontent across the land. If the polls do not go to the wishes of majority of Nigerians, what do we expect? Explosion, implosion, revolution? What do you expect?
Well, Nigerians are very patient people.
Is that not what has brought us where we are?
Yes.
Tolerating all sorts of bad behavior?
Yes. Nigerians are, but there is a limit.
Okay.
They tolerate people they love very much. But I don't think Tinubu's government has that benefit of being loved by Nigerians. Now, when Buhari was committing so many wrong things, Nigerians were the ones providing excuse for him. You know, we were the ones in the opposition who were criticizing him, but they will provide excuse and say, leave him. He will not steal our money. He will do this. He will do that. He will do that. And at the end of the day, when he couldn't do anything and there was no visible achievement that you can say is traceable to Buhari, Nigerians, even the North that supported him, they were disappointed. You know, I can remember the North left him the day Bello Turji arrested a vehicle on his way to Sokoto and burned all the people, including a pregnant woman, inside the bus. And they not said, no, this man, he can't do it. And so the North said he is incompetent. And we have always been shouting he's incompetent. We are not saying because we are Northerners we are supporting evil or we are supporting rubbish. Buhari was highly incompetent. We now came to discover that even when he was a military president, it was the effect of Idiagbon that was making the government very popular. So we felt he had missed Idiagbon, because if Idiagbon were around, he would have been his chief of staff. And if he was his chief of staff, he would have been guiding how he's doing things. But unfortunately, he lacked a companion that will help him to drive the narrative properly. You know, when he was asked, why are you not employing people from other areas? He said, I've given them minister. This is something that is constitutional. Whether you like it or not, you must give them. You don't have, what we are saying is those ones that are discretionary, that you can use your sense to say, okay, let me give it to you. You are giving it to your people. The difference between Tinubu's style, you know, although I understand the homogeneity of Yoruba tribe, is that Buhari distributes it in the north, not to his own native places. He gives it to North Central, he gives it to Northeast, he gives it to Northwest. Everybody is getting in the north. But Tinubu's own is concentrated. Like you rightly said, it's Lagos Boys Association of Nigeria.